It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast as we talk property 7 days a week. Yes, and as heard on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon. And we have landed in another weekend. So nice to get to a Saturday. The coffee is tasting pretty good this morning. And it is May the 25th. My goodness, the end of the month we are approaching. Now, owning a home in Australia in 2024 provides significant security, as we know, offering a stable roof over your head and alleviating the vulnerabilities of renting. And it's proven that by having this stability enhances your mental health by reducing the anxiety associated with unstable, stressful living conditions, which we know only too well in 2024. And the assurance that the property is yours as long as those mortgage repayments are maintained definitely fulfills basic psychological needs for safety and belonging. And this sense of ownership, it is a powerful aspect to our lives, fostering a deep sense of security and peace of mind, knowing that your home, a vital asset, cannot be taken away, which is a profound comfort for many, many Australians. You know, 100 years from now, society might look very, very different with every person having their own living space provided by the state. But we are not living in the future. We are living in 2024, and for first home buyers looking to escape the renting trap, unfortunately and sadly, many Australians will never get to leave. Well, because it is a Saturday morning, Anthony Landahl, the Managing Director of Equilibria Finance, is back on our Saturday morning talking mortgage talk and other things. And good morning to you, Anthony. You are in the space of talking to first home buyers trying to escape the renting chaos that they are stuck in. The mental health and the stress that I mentioned is something that you are dealing with every day. I do think that not all Australians who have properties really fully appreciate this aspect.
Good morning, Craig. It's nice to be here, mate, and those comments you made in the preamble are definitely relevant. The stress and strain for first home buyers who are renting or who are in fact trying to get into their first home, and the challenges around the deposit, the challenges around affordability are very stressful, and we see that every day. In fact, more and more we're seeing first home buyers accept that maybe I am going to be a long-term renter and start thinking about other investment options, for example, for maybe investing in an investment property and giving up on that dream of home ownership in the initial instance. It's a shifting dynamic, but it is very stressful and a difficult time for first home buyers, with affordability only getting harder and harder.
So buying a home in 2024, as you say, it ain't easy. That is for sure. There are some insurmountable obstacles that people face. I think we all are clear on that. And there are always a lot of considerations for people starting out, aren't there, on their property journey?
There sure are. And in such a competitive market, you want to be ready when that home comes up or when that opportunity comes up that you're ready to pounce, because it's an incredibly competitive environment. In that environment, you want to be finance ready, you want to be ready with all of your conveyances, building and pest, and all those things. So you're ready to make a move when that right opportunity comes up.
When you go back 2 years ago, we were in post-COVID, but 2 years ago, in terms of what has happened, there has been another huge shift post-COVID. So when you say people have got to be ready, I mean, they're really competing against what was taking place 2 years ago.
They are. The Australian housing market nationally has grown over 10% since the lull, I guess, or since a little bit of a trough where we came off the pace of those massive highs through COVID. We've had 15 consecutive months of growth again. So we're getting a lot of concentration competition where we've still got very, very limited supply nationally. That's creating competition in the market, even if there might be less buyers, but relative to the supply on the market, it's basic fundamentals of economics. We haven't got enough houses. So we've got a supply and demand issue, which is creating ongoing growth and creating ongoing competition for those in the market. So we might have 2, 3, 4, 5 people at auction continually driving up those prices. So you want to be ready to buy when that opportunity comes up.
Yeah, and just on that point, of course, the mortgage landscape itself has certainly changed from, let's say, a decade ago. It's almost chalk and cheese. I mean, the comparisons are that great. So this morning, perhaps, step over some of the key things that a bank in 2024 is going to be looking at when assessing somebody's finance application.
Yeah, you're right. The environment has changed from 10 or 15 years ago. It's interesting. Sometimes we get people looking to upgrade and the shift in terms of credit, in terms of the banks is massive for those sort of people. Yeah, it's a really good question and it's really important because there's a lot people can do to prepare to be what we would call finance ready or finance fit when we go to a provider. The main things a provider are going to be looking at are your ability to repay the loan. How do they do that? They look at your income stream, whether you're a salaried employee or self-employed and require your tax returns to be prepared. They want to see a good, stable, ongoing income stream. They want to understand your existing liabilities, whether it's credit card limits, motor vehicle loans, and that they're being well maintained by you as the repayer. They'll also look at your family unit, your cost of living, your living expenses. So essentially they're painting a profile around your capacity to repay the loan. They also will look at your credit score. Have you had loans in the past? Have you got existing loans and credit cards? Are you making regular and up-to-date repayments? So a big part of what they now look at is your credit score and your history of repayments, and then they'll give you an understanding of what your capacity to borrow is, how much they'll lend you in essence.
All right. Well, we're talking to Anthony Landahl. He knows a thing or two about the mortgage space. We'll come back in just a moment and talk more property after this.
Gain insights with exclusive conversations from real estate professionals about buying, selling and investing across Australia.
Well, there's no doubt for your mum and dad investors that, interest rates or the possibility of future interest rates is something that they are going to factor into their consideration when they're considering when to purchase or, how much they should be spending.
So in terms of, let's say, since COVID, have you had these people that have locked them up and then just sold them, making that profit within, say, 3-4 year period?
Oh, we certainly have. Why the market is just so strong right now on the Gold Coast is because a lot of these owners, whether they live in the property or not, none of them want to sell. They all believe in the Gold Coast. They all love the Gold Coast, whether they're enjoying the lifestyle as a permanent residence. Everyone has a lot of confidence in the Gold Coast that it's only just getting started. And we're even presenting these owners almost daily with off-market offers, which are, 40, 50, 60% more than what they paid pre-COVID.
Don't forget to subscribe. We have hundreds of episodes, all designed to help you better understand the constantly evolving and dynamically changing real estate property market.
And it is a Real Estate Saturday with the weekend. It's another busy one. Plenty of auctions on right around the country today. And if you are entangled in attending any of those, let's hope that you can get untangled by the end of the auctioneer bringing the gavel down and saying sold to you, hopefully. Back with us is Anthony Landahl. We are talking mortgages, we are talking finances, and just before the break, we were talking about all the things that you need to do to try and get you up to that finance ready to be able to nab yourself a mortgage. The process of when you finally find a property. Now, there is a bit of a checklist, Anthony, that you want to just tick off for people this morning, and that is so important, isn't it?
It sure is. Firstly and most obviously, of course, is engage your mortgage broker. to get you a pre-approval so that you are ready to make a bid at an auction, you are ready to purchase a home if it's through private treaty. What a pre-approval does is it gives you comfort around how much you can borrow, then with your deposit, what you can afford. So you understand the market that you're able to buy a property in, whether it's $500,000, whether it's $1 million or whatever it is. Then it's about building the team around you. You'll need a solicitor or conveyancer to ensure a contract of sale is all in order before you place an offer. You might then consider placing an offer or look at going to an auction. If you buy at an auction, you need to be aware that there's no cooling off provision. You've purchased the property. If you buy under private treaty, different states around Australia have different cooling off provisions for a property, where you might then complete a building and pest inspection, understand the strata and title searches. So there's a lot of stuff you want to be doing and checking. Check your contracts, do your building and pest. Then you're going to be signing and exchanging the contracts and submitting your deposit. After that, you'll be looking at your insurances. You might be processing a first homeowner grant, depending on what state you're in, and then working towards settlement with your broker, with your conveyancer, as you're part of your team, as you work towards that final settlement day and moving in.
Yeah. And just coming back to the pre-purchase, don't go and look at property is probably the advice unless you are pre-approved for your mortgage, because we're just not in a market where you can put terms and conditions around finance. It's not going to be a winning strategy. You've seen this day in, day out, where people have probably come to you and said, gee, I've found the perfect property, but we're miles away from getting our pre-purchase done.
That's right. A pre-approval is critical, especially if you're coming into the market for the first time or you're looking to upgrade. It gives you comfort around what you'll borrow. What it essentially means is we've done the analysis around your income, your credit limits, your expenses, your family unit. We've packaged up an application on your behalf and present it to the lender. The lender's done their assessment. They've come back and said, we will lend you this much money. And that's a real comfort zone, because then once you've purchased a property, all we need to focus on then is the valuation of the property and working towards unconditional approvals, loan documentation and settlement. So pre-approval in this environment, both from a credit perspective with navigating the lenders and the competition in the marketplace, gives you comfort, and it also puts you in the best position to make an offer on a property and secure that home.
Now, I was going to ask you what the average time is from the point of view when somebody first comes into your office to process that mortgage for them. But there's probably two different cohorts with that. In other words, first home buyers probably would take longer, I don't know this for sure, this is why it's a question, than somebody that is buying their second and third properties.
Yeah, look, a lot of times with first home buyers, there's a lot of an education piece around understanding how the environment works, where they're going. The beauty of working with mortgage brokers is we have a large panel of providers. We often get a case where someone says, look, we're new to the market, we found a property we like, it's going to auction on the weekend. We might need to do a 2-day turnaround to get an application submitted to try and get an approval in place. There are other times where there's not that time pressure. It might take a couple of weeks to get that approval in place, and there's a broader education piece. And yeah, with people who might be upgrading, there's other considerations around, do they buy before they sell, or do they sell and then buy their property? And a lot of that's about timing, which might bring in other sort of finance options like bridging. The beauty of working with brokers is we have a large panel of providers, and if someone needs us to shift ground pretty quickly, we're able to do that, and we're able to work with providers who might have a 1 or 2-day turnaround time to get a pre-approval assessed and approved.
All right, we'll leave it there. Good on you, Anthony. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the surfboard if you're going out for one of those. Look forward to catching you back soon.
No worries, Craig. And yeah, definitely up for a surf today, mate. She's been a busy week, so I'll go and enjoy that and have a great weekend.
Don't navigate the real estate market alone. Let us help guide you in the world of real estate every day. Make better informed decisions with the latest news and insights. We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.